I think that was really beautiful. I think it was beautiful that we gave that little gift of ridiculousness to ourselves. It's been a crazy day. Today is Maintenance Monday, and so Maintenance Monday is all about focusing on maintenance. And as far as all of these things go, we're going to go through each of them really quickly and try not to go super duper deep. We'll just see where this goes. And shout out to Abigail Lang. Her podcast is amazing. I finally caught up on some of her recent episodes, and it really touched me, especially like talking about some of the craziness in the media and stuff today. She's just a discerning voice that cuts through the noise. I said that in my 5-star Apple review of her podcast like a while ago when I first heard it. And I don't know, like her content just is super, super good and just consistently super good. And that's just like, that's her. So it's like, I only think it'll only get better. So yeah, I'm glad I found her content early. It's pretty amazing and definitely has helped me with my overall journey so far. So check out her stuff, linked in the show notes. And yeah, so there's a Maintenance Monday. There's Tubular Tuesday, Wisdom Wednesday, Thankful Thursday, Fan the Flame Friday, and Ship Something Cool Saturday, and finally Spiritual Sunshine Sunday. And yeah, so the big 3 reasons, right? I think there's plenty of reasons. One is we're going to save energy. We're going to save energy because I don't have to think about any of these things. Today when I woke up, I knew today was going to be slower, a little more chill, maintenance. Like that is the feeling of today is maintenance. None of this crazy, like, dude, college, man, there was times where I'd feel so stressed out with Mondays. Like, holy moly, like not knowing what's coming up next and oh my goodness, just ridiculousness. But with these theme days, what I've done is I've created a feeling, or I've decided on a feeling that I'm going to have for each day. And Maintenance Monday is interesting because I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I love being a Christian and follower of Christ, right? I don't force that on anybody, but one thing that church has brought into my life is the concept of doing a family night every week, and that's something my family has done for a while. And we do ours on Sunday. We did them on Monday for a while and do like a little game and a song and stuff and read scriptures and stuff. And we try to read scriptures and pray every night, but you know, you do what you can. But I'm excited because that will be part of the ritual maybe. And for me, I don't know. I really like the thought of Maintenance Monday. Like just kind of make it chill. And especially as my life or business or whatever is my life continues to grow, because something is growing. There is no doubt about it. If you go back to like episodes from like July or even an episode a year ago, you can clearly tell there's some freedom. There's some part of Dallin that is somehow more free. And it is so stupid nice. And I don't even because I remember where I was a year ago, and it was a humbling place to be. We'll just say that, you know. You can go back to previous episodes. I've learned a lot, and a lot of it was not accepting myself, not thinking I was enough, thinking I had, you know, just lost out on blessings being as great or some of God's promises and stuff, even though he was telling me I was fine, you know. It's like, oh no, I messed up and I lost out and blah, 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 you know? Anyway, so there's that. With Maintenance Monday, there's that. And we get to save the energy because I don't have to think about it. It's just already there. It's the feeling. Like today, I had an interview that just was super good. And Riverside said that the host, like the guest side, wasn't working. And I was like, no. Riverside, you're chill. We're chill. And it, like at the end, it was like, no, I didn't get any of that. And I wanted to caress Riverside and tell him it was okay, but he didn't get any of that. And he got my side of the recording, and that was it. And I felt so upset, and I just had to accept it. And so this has happened actually twice in the last couple days in different ways where I've like accidentally overridden a podcast episode or something, and I have to tell the person, like, this never happens, but some reason this is happening and has happened, and it's okay because I wrote this poem called Accept It, and it's definitely a poem I needed, you know, like a year ago, when I was struggling so much of acceptance, and denying was so easy to do. But like accepting the truth. And it makes me think of this thing that I thought of when I was on my run. And I guess this might be a little bit of a longer episode, I sense, and I'll do what I can, I promise. I feel like there's going deep, and I feel like the deep, it's like definitely generally goes into truth. I love those deep conversations instead of those like overthinking, like we're looking over the truth. We're like not even thinking about the truth. We're just getting so caught up in this moment. But when we're able to go super deep on truth and super deep on like all these good things, we just see so much more clearly, and it's just beautiful. It's LKB, low key beautiful. That's an acronym I came up with a while ago, and I've shared it on the Fucks of Golding with some people, and it's a beautiful acronym. So there you go, LKB. It's a thing. But like, yeah, there's that, and then there's Tubular Tuesday, which is tomorrow, and that's more of a gun-ho, go for it, just all guns blazing kind of day. Wisdom Wednesday is probably one of the most restorative and helpful ones, where no social media, go on a long walk. There's a couple weeks where I was going on dates with myself, but I don't really have any money. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what this Wednesday comes up with. And then Thankful Thursday, where I write a little thread thanking some people and reach out to some people on Instagram and stuff. And that hasn't really happened. And I think that's an important part of this, is like with anything, it takes time to really figure it out. And you have to make little tweaks too. I've made a lot of tweaks with this, and I've finally gone to the point where I feel like it's in a pretty good spot. And I like all the names for each of the days because that's important to me. I love the alliteration. Or I think alliteration has to make 3 or 4 words in a row with the same first letter, but whatever. It's still sort of alliteration, sort of. It's like in Donkey Kong Country, where like every level, at least in the first one, is like such good words, like Angry Aztec. Well, that's Donkey Kong 64. But like they have these really cool, like, yeah, just word structured things. Cannon Cluster, well, that's Donkey Kong Country Returns. But you get what I mean. So there's that. Fan the Flame Friday is more for reaching out to some person that I've never reached out to before, and just to really fan the flame of my life, and reach out to somebody I've never reached out to before. And then there's Ship Something Cool Saturday, which I think has only happened once. But the idea is like to ship out some thread or some cool product or article or something. And I guess doing that on a weekly basis is kind of a lot. But maybe it's to ship something else cool. I think it's important to make that a little bit more open of a definition. Shipping something cool for myself. That could look like a lot of different things. And then there's Spiritual Sunshine Sunday, which is all just basking in spiritual sunshine, like going super deep on that. Like yesterday was so good for that. I gave a little lesson in church about Christ and what I believe and know that he did for us as far as like suffering for all of our struggle and temptation and on the cross and everything like that. And that was really beautiful for me. And also with it being Father's Day, spending time with family. And so I really try to go super deep on that, the spiritual sunshine, because then I see more clearly in the upcoming week. I just do. Like, if I can just make it to Sunday, that was something I tell myself last year at some points, because I'd get so much help on Sunday because I was really trying to include God. And I think it's just important to have God in your life, period. For me, Sunday is the day that, I try to connect with God every day, but like Sunday, I really try to make a special effort. So that's all of them. And this also helps me with my ADHD, because sometimes especially in college and last year too, where like a day would start to fall apart because I slept until like 3 p.m. and I didn't know what to do, and I was so frustrated and had all these mismanaged thoughts and all this other stuff, and it was just frustrating. And what this does for me, it's like, hey, ADHD brain, I know that you love structure and novelty. Here's structure and here's novelty, because every day's different. There's little switches, there's little changes. Like, you can literally build the whole day around this. And it's sort of like that most important 20% that makes up the 80% in the 80-20 rule. It's like I've already decided how this day is going to go. So Thankful Thursday is always going to be Thankful Thursday. Like, I don't really see that changing. I love Thankful Thursday because it's just helped me to see my blessings a lot more clearly. And I don't know how much this is going to change over time, but I really like it so far. And I realize this is really kind of all over the place, and I just sort of apologize. No, I super duper fully apologize. it's been a crazy day. It really has. But I'm really glad I went on my run because I was able to get this more solidified and figured out, at least more in my head. Now we're going to talk a little bit about number 2, which is the chance to keep building. I think that's really important because when you give yourself this tradition with yourself, you're giving yourself this gift to build on this, to try this, to change things up, to put this out in a way so it can help you more, not less. You know, I feel like with a lot of content, a lot of products and things, they're always being built, yes, so you can use them more and hopefully help you more, but it's also so you spend more time on them. It's so you get more attached to them, so you get more, what dare I say the word, addicted to them? Yes, absolutely. And I've seen this before where like some tiny little tweak in UI design, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. And now, you know, I spend more time looking at my subscriptions on YouTube because of how they have it all so much easier to see, or whatever it is. It just appeals to the brain more. And your brain's like, yeah, this is cool. But I've really learned a lot about listening to my heart and not just like falling victim to these chemicals that my brain needs. My brain needs dopamine. And being an ADHD person, I generally do not have as high a dopamine threshold as the rest of the world. That's just kind of an ADHD thing for a lot of ADHD people. And so, you know, I really appreciate having runs and having other things that help my dopamine rise, because that helps me to feel more at peace and helps me to feel more dialed in my work and whatever it is I might do. And so I need to have that. I need to have that. And yeah, this kind of goes along with, you know, what this decision to make every day like this theme. It goes along with this decision I made on March 25th to go on the road to endless virtue. And the road to endless virtue is this writing prompt thingamabobber that I did for like 45 days in a row. And I'd write down all these different things I got out of the day. I'd write down scriptures, and I had this like system that I'd follow. What did the 80-year-old version of myself think? What did the 8-year-old version think? And it was to fight against pornography and thought poison and stuff, which was frustrating me, and thoughts were coming up, and you just feel like sort of stuck sometimes, and that stuff just kind of won't go away. And so there's this really cool scripture that has given me so much comfort. There's not even a word to describe it, but it's Doctrine and Covenants 1:21-33, and it's in the Doctrine and Covenants, which is a book of scripture that I have not talked about much on the podcast, but it is a collection of revelations that I believe God gave for this specific period in time through a living prophet, right? That's what I believe, right? Okay. So, but it basically says like, how long can rolling waters remain impure? Like, how long is that possible? Because running water, like, generally if water's running really, really fast, it is clean water. And this gives me so much comfort because this goes along with this goes along with everything else, this goes along with the third thing, which might as well jump into it. It's self-love. That's what this is. This is a self-love by design thing. This was a Dallin is designing his life by design thing. This was a, okay, Dallin, I understand that on Mondays, maybe you need a little more maintenance. And I understand, Dallin, on Wednesdays, maybe you need to just listen to your inner wisdom and vibe. And maybe on Saturday, you just want to get something out there. And maybe on Thursday, you just want to feel more thankful. So it's like all of this experimenting by design, all of this self-work, and it's just all of this stuff is kind of culminated in this beautiful thing. And I realize I'm sitting way too close to the silly mic, but that's okay. I think this is probably the biggest part of it is the self-love equation, because I realized it on my run, and any time I fell into pornography or let myself even entertain not so good thoughts, or I just like, I don't know, it was because I didn't feel enough. It's because when I talked to somebody about it, I didn't feel better. They would make me feel not enough for having spent any time with it at all, which just obviously doesn't help. I don't need to be treated like I have a problem, thank you very much, you know? And it's really hard. I think it's so hard because I sometimes pick up way too much on people, and I sometimes overthink too, where I think, okay, they're not saying anything. Clearly, they don't want to talk to me anymore. And maybe they do want to talk to me, but sometimes it's just hard to feel that when you're telling me nothing, or you're not telling me very much at all. You're telling me that I'm good or whatever, and I'm like, yes, but I need some more support. I don't know. Where are we going with this? I don't know. But that's what this is. This is part of the commitment to be on the road to endless virtue. It's that I will not entertain any other thought that is not like godly or something. And you know what? I guess we're going into this because it's on my mind. You know, I feel like with a lot of going on dates and stuff and whatever, I just sort of feel like I needed to have some kind of like rebellious streak or some kind of like, you know, just some kind of chip on my shoulder or something like that. And I don't know, like Satan can get in your head, what I believe, you know, the enemy, I believe that he can get in your head with a lot of different things and things you're insecure about, especially when you don't give those things to God quickly. And that is something I have learned to give to God, especially on the road to endless virtue, and being like, I feel all these feelings. I am giving you all these feelings. I am not going to let myself feel all these feelings. Well, I'll let myself feel these feelings, but I'll let you feel these feelings with me because you can help me feel these feelings way better and channel it into a poem. You know, I literally wrote a couple poems about resisting temptation and about like how God is trying to keep me one step ahead and one jump ahead and help me have joy and all throughout my life and all that stuff. And we're going into some crazy deep stuff, but it does come back to this commitment to be on the road to endless virtue, which ever since I made that commitment, there's been a lot of craziness, and sure, I've been tempted, but I have stuck to it, you know? Like, I've recognized the dumb little people reaching, like, not dumb little people, but like those silly little messages, like somebody reaching out to me, I've been like, oh, see, that is God telling me to get off of Instagram or to get off my computer or just to leave. And I wrote this poem called Divine Interruptions, and the last line of that poem, I'll have a link in the show notes if you want to read it, but it just talks about the time that God takes me away from myself are often the times he is trying to bring me back to him and bring me back into his loving embrace, right? Because I feel like you don't have to, you know, we don't have to wait to feel God's love. I don't think we have to wait for him to like enfold us with his love. I think his arms are always open. We can always run to him. And we're going way deep. We're going way spiritual because this is what's on my mind right now. And it's like, it's okay. We just get this out there and it's just, whatever happens, just it's gone. It's here. We move on. So that is the theme days in a nutshell. It is an act of saving energy and time and money because I don't have to think about planning my day as much anymore because I have those feelings I want to go back to. Maintenance, tubular, which I'm still trying to figure out what that means. You know, wisdom, and you know, because I can go back to those because I can like if I feel frustrated or whatever, I can be like, is this fanning the flame? Is this thankful? Is this wisdom? Is this maintenance? And it sounds so stupid to other people, but to me, it's pure genius and whatever. That's it. It's low KB. LKB, that's all it is. Then it gives me something to build on, which builds the relationship with myself, a chance to keep building, a ritual that I can keep building on. I'll remember this Maintenance Monday for the rest of my life, probably, because this was a very important Maintenance Monday. I just kind of sense that. And same thing with other, you know, days of these days. I get the chance to learn from them, and I keep a really good journal, so I'm able to track them, and it's cool. Then there's finally the self-love thing of staying on the road to endless virtue, knowing what choices I'm going to make before I make them, so I don't find myself on Instagram or on Twitter or whatever at 11:30, and I just kind of have these feelings of like, I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting my life, blah, blah, blah. I can be like, these feelings are not me. I'm thankful. I am whatever, dude. I'm on the road to endless virtue, which is like, for me, that's like confidence. That's choosing to be like Jesus. Just that's everything. And it's like, I'm going to go as deep in scripture as I want. I'm not going to hold back down from that. I'm going to follow spiritual promptings I get. And it's like, everybody in the world can think I'm completely nuts, but that is completely fine because I accept myself. I love myself. And this was an act of self-love. So this went all over the place. And Thank you, Abigail, for the request. I don't know if we've gotten a podcast requested episode in a very long time, so I hope that this answered your question and was helpful. It definitely was a very personal decision. I mean, Steve Jobs and other people, they like have their wardrobes picked out and stuff like that, and so a lot of it's that, and a lot of it is just things I love about myself. I love having something to build on. I love having something to work on, and I love self-love. I love being able to reach out to myself and help out myself, and this is how I do it, at least right now, with my days of the week. And it helps with my planning, helps with a lot of other things. So that is that. We will stop talking. Thank you so much for listening and for listening to this rant and everything. There's more interviews coming. There's been so many. I recorded 6 last week and I have 6 this week. So it's kind of nuts. If the conversations are resonating with you, helping you in your walk with God, or whatever this podcast does with you, for you, if it helps you, like, I would definitely appreciate a review because that helps more people find it. And that is all I will say. So thank you. And remember to yield to the good and it'll be a better tomorrow.